insists. We don't have to give these dalal. This is a favor that we're doing upon people by giving more and more dalal to make them understand that someone has been just giving you wrong information. If someone insists, no, I want proofs for then how would you prove things? You tell me, a lot of people say, give me a sahih hadith. Sahih hadith. I only take from Quran and sahih hadith. You hear that, don't you? Common statement. Sahih hadith. What is sahih hadith? Define a sahih hadith. They will say, if someone has studied the definition of sahih hadith, they'll say, sahih hadith, mattasala sanaduhu binaqlil adili, anil adali dabiti, min ghayri shuzuzin wala illatin. They will give that definition of sahih hadith. The sahih hadith is something, this is the definition, the Arabic definition. Now, I would like to ask you a question. If you say this is the definition of sahih hadith, who made this definition of sahih hadith? This definition of sahih hadith itself is a bid'ah. This was not made in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The companions did not make this definition of sahih hadith. So to say that I only take from sahih hadith, if someone says that, we would like to ask them this question. Sahih hadith? You want a sahih hadith? Define a sahih hadith. The moment they give a definition of sahih hadith, ask them, prove this definition of sahih from a book of hadith. From the Quran. You cannot prove it from the Quran. You cannot prove it from the hadith. You know the differences, the different kinds of books that we have in the hadith literature. For instance, not only sahih, you've got hadith mutawatir, you've got khabrul ahad, you've got mudallas, you've got mu'an'an, you've got mu'annan, you've got mu'allaq, mu'adal, mu'allal, mutawatir, khabrul ahad, mutawatir lafzi, mutawatir ma'navi. All of these definitions of hadith, did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mention these? Can you find these definitions of hadith? Can you even find these titles in the books of hadith? No. It is a bid'ah. Undoubtedly this is a bid'ah. But it is a good bid'ah. All these this fard. You know this, you've got fard. You do mention that, don't you? Everyone knows that. Okay, these titles, you probably never heard of these before. But every scholar knows this. The division of the books of hadith. You've got mustadraqat. You've got mustakhrajat. You've got ma'ajim. These are different books of hadith. Ma'ajim, musnad, masanid. They all have their own definitions. Did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tell the companions, compile my narrations and call them a musnad? Ma'ajim, mustakhrajat, mustadraqat. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never said this. All of this is a bid'ah. And if we are accepting all of these bid'at and all our hadith literature is based on this bid'ah. Not only that, fard. What is the definition of fard? ما ثبت وجوبه بدليل قطعي لا شبهة فيه. Fard is something, the obligatoriness of which is established from a definitive source of legislation. A definite source of legislation in which there is no doubt, there is no possibility of ambiguity. That is fard. What is wajib? ما ثبت وجوبه بدليل zanniyin wa fihi shubha. Did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam define fard in this manner? Is this definition made by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? No. Did the companions define it in this way? No. This is a bid'ah. And there is no doubt that this is an innovation. And everyone believes that this is an innovation. And if this bid'ah can be accepted as bid'ah hasana, then why can't we accept Mawlidun Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How do we prove the permissibility of all of these things? They say, okay, but Islam says, "Ballighu anni walau ayah." The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Convey from me, even if it's one verse, even if it's one single ayah, convey it." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this. We say, but did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ever say, define Sahih Hadith in this manner? Did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Do you know Sheikh Abu Ghudda in his Qawaid fi Ulum al-Hadith? He says, and Ibn Taymiyyah says that. He says that the first one who defined, who made the division of Sahih, Hasan and Da'if was Imam Tirmizi. This is a bid'ah of Imam Tirmizi. If I was to do zid and say, brother, I don't believe in Sahih Hadith, in Mu'jam, Musnad, Sihah Sitta, what is Sihah Sitta? 6 books of Hadith, why Sihah Sitta? I don't believe in all of this. Why? The Prophet ﷺ didn't say this. The companions didn't define it. They did not divide it in this manner. It's a bid'ah, I don't accept it. What proof would they have? They have no proof. They will say, no, the Quran says, convey the message of Islam. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون للمنكر. The Prophet ﷺ said, بلغوا عني ولو آية. So to convey the message of Islam, to preserve the deen, this is why we have to do it. We say to preserve the deen. We can introduce bid'ahs, then to preserve the honor of Rasulullah ﷺ. Why can't we hold the gatherings of Mawlid al-Nabi ﷺ? You see? How many spari are in the Quran? 30? Brothers, this is a bid'ah. This is an innovation. 30 spari. And I'm not giving you any examples of bid'ah lughawiyya. I'm giving you examples directly from things which are part of our deen. Is Quran deen or not? So I'm not giving examples of a microphone. Even though this computer, using the internet to give dawah, all of that, we accept that. But if someone says, no, give me examples within deen, then the 30 spari of the Quran, 30 ajza of the Quran. Did the Prophet ﷺ divide the Quran into 30 ajza? Did any sahabi do it? Did any tabi do it? Did any tabu tabi do it? No, this was done after atba'u tabi'in. In the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, 114 surahs. That's it. 30 ajza of the Quran is a bid'ah. But no, it's easier to memorize it. You know, this is something that makes it easy it is for a good thing. Then we gather our children and our brothers and sisters in the gatherings of Mawlid so that they can learn the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is why we hold the gatherings of Mawlid. There's a good purpose, here there's a good purpose.